Hello, my name is Tracy Allen and I want to welcome you to Cooking with Some Friends. Hello and welcome to Cooking with Some Friends. I am going to throw together a very quick, probably one of the quickest desserts that I've done with peaches, and the peaches are coming to an end here in our part of the United States, so I'm hoping to get maybe a couple more times where we can get them, but they've been so good this year. But this is actually an easy cinnamon roll peach cobbler, and the reason it's so easy is you start with your fresh peaches, but the topping is actually a can of refrigerated cinnamon rolls. So in my pan, I have 5 peaches that I've peeled and sliced, and I'm gonna add to that 3 tablespoons of sugar, 2 tablespoons of flour for a thickener, and then I have 2 teaspoons of cinnamon and 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg. And I'm going to stir those together and add in, if I need it, I have a tablespoon of water here that I can add in. These peaches have been so juicy, I kind of hate to add that in, but I may have to. So I'm just going to cook this until it comes up to a simmer, and then I'm going to take it off the heat and let it cool about 5 minutes, and then it'll be ready to put in my 8x8 that I've sprayed. So this will take a minute to come up to a simmer. So my peaches have really thickened up. I cooked them for about 5 or 6 minutes is what it took as far as the simmering. And then I let them cool down just a little bit. They're still pretty hot. But I'm going to put these in my sprayed 9x13. They smell so good. All that wonderful juice. And then I've opened up my cinnamon roll package, and if your cinnamon rolls that you buy come with the icing, then keep that. You may decide you want to use it, or you can make your own, which I'm going to show you how to do. And I've also gotten out some pecans in case we want to put pecans on the top. Okay, so I'm going to separate each cinnamon roll and then cut each one of those in fourths and put them across evenly across the top. Kind of thought my granddaughter was going to help me with this, and we went shopping all morning and she's in there taking a nap, so don't blame her. It's hard to shop. Okay, I'm going to finish this up and put this in my 350-degree oven, and I need to let this bake until the cinnamon rolls have browned and the peaches are bubbly, and then they'll be ready for the icing. Super simple. Okay, I finished cutting up my cinnamon rolls and my packaged cinnamon rolls and put those over the top. But I do want to show you, before I put this in the oven, I want to lightly tent some foil over the top of it. And this is just to keep the cinnamon rolls from getting overly done. I don't want it to be sealed up super tight. I just want to tent it over lightly. I've got a couple of things going on here, but I'm ready to finish up the easy cinnamon roll peach cobbler. So I'm going to make the icing for that. You can use the icing that comes in with the cinnamon rolls that you buy, or you can use the homemade. And in my bowl, I have about 1/2 cup of powdered sugar. I'm going to add just a little bit, about 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. And then I'm going to start with about 1 tablespoon of heavy whipping cream and mix that in until it's the consistency I want. If I need a little more, I've got 2 tablespoons of it there in my bowl. And when this is the consistency I wanted, I'm just going to drizzle it over the top of this hot peach cobbler. And and then it will be ready to go. If I have leftovers though, I want to make sure I put these in the refrigerator because those fresh peaches will spoil pretty quickly. There's my icing, and it's ready to drizzle. Super simple cobbler recipe. Hi everyone, and welcome to Cooking with Some Friends. I have a bunch of apples that I need to use up, and mine is just because I've purchased them for different things, and I like to use different kinds of apples for different recipes. But this is a recipe that you can use a variety of apples at the same time. So I've taken some of my Honeycrisp apples that I had, and I've taken some Fuji apples. We used to have a Fuji apple tree, and they make the best applesauce. And then I've taken just a couple of my Granny Smith apples that I had in the fridge. I'm going to save a couple back to do baked apples or something with. But anyway, I took that conglomeration of apples and peeled and cored and sliced them and put them in my crock pot. Now, normally if I'm using my crock pot, I'm going to put a liner in it, but this one I'm not. And it's because at the end, when I go to mash up the apples or stir them or those things, I don't want the bag would tear. And so I'm going to use it. I use my bare crock pot for this recipe. So I'm doubling the recipe that I'm going to show you. So I have 12 apples, and I think the combination was like maybe 2 Honeycrisp and 8 to 10, I think there were 8 Fuji apples, and then I just used 2 of my Granny Smiths. So they're in my crock pot. And then I'm going to put in that, I'm going to add, since I'm doubling, I'm going to add 3/4 cup of sugar and a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. Brown sugar almost gives it that pie-like taste, so we like that in our applesauce. So I've got that. I'm also going to put in some cinnamon, and I want to add about a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon to this because when I double it would be 2 teaspoons, except for one of those I'm going to add a whole cinnamon stick, and that will be removed whenever this is done. I have some lemon juice so the apples don't brown quite as much as they cook. So I've got 2 teaspoons and I have fresh lemon juice. I just think it works better. So I have 2 teaspoons of fresh lemon juice that I'm going to put in there. And then the last thing that's going to go in there, and then I'm going to stir this up. I'll cover it, excuse me, and I'll process it on high for about 4 hours. If you want to go on low, it would take closer to 6 hours before you're ready for the last step, which is using a whisk to mash those up, or your meat masher that you use in burger would work as well. So I'm also going to put over the top of that 1 cup of water. And then I want to stir all this together, plug it in, put the lid on it, and let the crock pot do the work. Okay. Some people put a little bit of nutmeg in their applesauce. We're not real crazy about the taste of nutmeg, but you could add just a little bit if you wanted to. We just don't like that necessarily. Okay, my applesauce has cooked. I've had it on high for 4 hours. I took the cinnamon stick out just a minute ago. And now I'm just going to take my whisk and whisk those together until it's the consistency that I want to break up those pieces of apple. Like I said, you could use your meat I don't know what it's called, what you break up your hamburger with. My glasses keep fogging over as I'm doing this, but I'm just going to keep stirring this until it's the consistency that I want. And that's all there is to this Crockpot applesauce. It smells wonderful. Thanks for joining us for this session of Cooking with Some Friends. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And find us on Facebook at Cooking with Some Friends.